I'm Al Michaels, welcoming you to Birmingham. Auburn comes in with a record of 2-0. They've looked very good. The Tigers have very high hopes right now as they open up the SEC race against a team that's really been staggering. Tennessee opening up its season against two Pac-10 foes and losing, and they won 117 minutes without scoring. So Johnny Major certainly hopes today is the time to turn things around. Working with me today, our analyst is the man who quarterbacked the Oklahoma Sooners to national championships in 1974 and 1975, Steve Davis. And Steve, as you talk to the Auburn people, the personnel, the coaches, the players, the fans, they think if they can get by this one, they might be 7-0.
Well, they really do, Al. They've got a good football team, but neither team, Auburn or Tennessee, has been able to put a cohesive game together. Auburn, on one hand, they played good offensively one game, and then defensively they played one good. They've never been able to put it together. And then on the other side, Tennessee, they've struggled offensively, and they got to get some things done.
Auburn against Tennessee, 30th meeting between these two rivals from Legion Field in Birmingham. We'll be right back after this.
It was a time to crown new champions, to applaud those who rose above the crowd. It was a year to remember.
The Minnesota Twins are baseball's world champions.
Call this toll-free number now and relive the excitement of 1991 all in one amazing video. The Year in Sports. It's free with your paid subscription to Sports Illustrated, the best way to capture all the drama of sports. In your free video, you'll see the finest take their best shots.
Another left hook.
Call now and get your free video. And you'll get SI's 92 Sports Almanac free. It's filled with fascinating facts, stats, and photos, and it's free. Call now to subscribe or renew. Get your free video and almanac, plus 30 issues of SI, including the swimsuit issue, for only $1.49 an issue. Save 50% off the cover price. For quicker delivery, use your credit card. Your free video gives you all the thrills of the past year, and you won't miss the excitement yet to come in Sports Illustrated. Call now.
Knoxville to UCLA, then last week 2 late touchdowns to tie Oregon State 13-13. It is a team that has a lot of offensive weapons, and they hope they can come into play today. They are led by a quarterback by the name of Jimmy Streeter, number 6, who took over first string last year with 4 games remaining, sparked the Vols to an impressive finish, and Jimmy Streeter is off to a relatively good start so far this season, though they do expect a bit more from him. He has an array of receivers to choose from, including number 36, his running back, Kelsey Finch, taking the pass here.
Kelsey Finch is quite a football player. Last year he rushed for 770 yards and 8 touchdowns, and so far this year he's averaging 5.5 yards a carry.
Another man he won't have any trouble picking out is the big tight end, number 85, Reggie Harper. And also when it comes to speed, he'll look to the other side of the field, and Jeff Moore, number 88.
He's very speedy. They've got good speed in all the retrievers, but he's a real game breaker. He can do about everything, a lot of underneath routes, and he knows how to do something with the ball after he catches it.
The running game is led by the aforementioned Finch, taking the pitch here.
Finch is a strong, powerful runner. He's probably the faster runner in the backfield, but he's looking for a kind of season he had last year.
Through the middle, they use number 24, Double X, Frank Fox, the 1-2 tandem with Finch, and we may also see some freshmen in the offensive backfield today for Tennessee as Johnny Majors tries to get something going on offense. So certainly the Vols will have to score more to win. They picked up their 2 touchdowns, as we mentioned, very late last week. Defensively, though, Majors didn't know what to expect before the season started. He has to be impressed, and he certainly hopes he will have the services today of one cornerback by the name of Roland James.
Roland James is a great player, a hard hitter, and they're very glad to have him back today. He's had a broken thumb, and he is so much of a leader in their defensive secondary, a very vicious tackler, and they're glad to see him back today, and they're playing this cool weather.
If he does indeed play a lot today, it will be with a cast on that thumb. So Tennessee comes in 0-1-1. Auburn comes in 2-0. Victories over Kansas State and Virginia Tech, and they open up SEC play today. And they, like Tennessee, led by a quarterback, as you see their record, a 13-point win over K-State, 11 over Virginia Tech last week. Their quarterback, like Tennessee's, wears number 6, Charlie Trotman, and basically out of the same mold.
He's not very big, but he's a great quarterback in a lot of ways because he runs the option well. He's a good leader and very solid performer, good passer, 52% on the passing side of it, and he's just an excellent young player.
Here he finds number 82, Byron Franklin, one wide receiver, along with number 45, Rusty Bird, the speed merchants who Trotman will look to if the Auburn running game bogs down.
I don't think there's anybody in the country that can have the receivers that have the speed that Auburn does. Both of them are excellent performers, and Rusty Bird's a 4.5 young man, the 40-yard dash, and that's good anywhere.
So Trotman has been on the beam in his first 2 games, and certainly one of the most underrated backs as far as we are concerned in all the country would be this fella. Number 21, James Brooks, returning a kick here. He may not be a household name outside of Alabama right now, but that may change in a month or so.
Certainly will. Last year he was the freshman of the year in the Southeastern Conference, and he really got the position because of an injury to another running back that we'll see in just a minute. He's making his presence known. He's third in all total purpose running in the country right now with 205 yards. He's very powerful, and he's a runner. You can see right there.
And he's young also. James Brooks is only a sophomore and a fellow who might wind up in the top 10 in overall rushing before the year is out. Joe Cribbs, his running mate, number 20, has been injured so far this season. Hasn't seen much action, but certainly could play a key part today.
Well, last year he was the number 3 rusher in the Southeastern Conference, and of course he's about 90% strong, and he's back, and they're glad to have him. They've got a tremendous backfield with Cribbs healthy and Brooks healthy.
And another man who should be healthy today, who has been hurt, and Auburn has certainly had its share of injuries, would be the man who normally is the blocking back. But here he takes the ball, and you can see what he can do if he finds any daylight whatsoever. William Andrews. So Auburn seems to have enough offensive punch. I think, Steve, it's a question of whether or not Tennessee can muster up some offense. I think Johnny Majors has to be extremely disappointed to this point. Of course, they've had awful field position in their first 2 games.
Well, they did, and of course the problem that Tennessee has encountered all year long, they've just not been able to take advantage of the opportunities that they have had. They've not had many. They've had their problems not being able to be cohesive on offense, and the mistakes have hurt them.
This will be the 30th meeting between these 2 schools. Auburn leading overall 16, 12, and 1. Auburn and Tennessee will be right back.
Commercial from WRTV Channel 9 featuring the late Scott Howard, known to many as King of the Outlaw League.
And the home of New York's big-time boxing program. And we feature regularly worldwide Wrestling Federation action. If you want to see it, we've got it. The Long Island Arena. And coming to the Long Island Arena.
Once again, it's World Skating Derby action from Hamden, Connecticut from the fall of 1975. It's the New England Braves going up against the California Cobras, once again highlighting Brave rookie sensation number 45, Pat Dusko. That's Joe Panzarino calling the action from the trackside microphone. The New York Sky.
You're watching Sleepcore, media for insomnia.
The tee shot. Now that we have the grip, let's go to alignment. If you can't line up correctly, then you can't hit the ball straight. I try to keep my feet together because I see so many amateurs walk into the ball and set up by looking at where they want to hit it first. And then they set their club. And when you do this, it automatically sets your body in a position that's comfortable, but really isn't lined up correctly. So the way that a lot of professionals do it, and the way that I do it, is I get my feet pretty much together. And then I set my club first. That way my body isn't overtaking where I want it to line up. Now I set my club, I have a line on my club, and I point that right through where I want the ball to go. Now I create, after that, an imaginary line through that ball, all the way to my target. Now from there, all I do is widen my stance, set my hips and my shoulders parallel to that line. Now that's the most important thing. People think that your feet, your hips, and your shoulders should point to your target, which would mean that instead of being parallel to that imaginary line, they would be aimed right, which is what is called closed, and that would create the ball to have a right to left spin on the ball. So make sure that there's a parallel line through your ball and that your feet, hips and shoulders are parallel to that line that you want your ball to go. So in actual fact, if you stood behind my feet, if you laid a club across my feet, it should be actually left of my target because it is slightly left of that parallel line. There's two parallel lines drawn straight to your target. Now another way you'll see a lot of professionals when they're up on the practice tee is they set a club like I have over here because there's another parallel line, and they try to make their body and the line that's going from the ball all in a parallel line. So that's all you do, and that's how you can check it. You can set a club down there to make sure that, again, the line that you want the ball to go on is going to be parallel to that club. And your feet, your hips, and your shoulders will also be parallel, so they'll be slightly aimed a little left. And that's all there is to that, too. Let's check our ball position. Remember, in alignment, you should set your club first. Then widen your stance, and everything should be parallel. Now, to get the correct ball position, this parallel line creates a perpendicular line, and it should be 2 inches on the inside of your left heel. And it should stay uniformly this through every shot. Some people think that it should change all the time, and it shouldn't. The only thing that changes is the width of your stance. Now remember that. That's very important. Keep the same ball position 2 inches on the inside of your left heel. Now to get comfortable with your body in addressing the ball, people think that they should bend from the waist. That's incorrect. The way to get comfortable, widen your stance, feel like you're sitting on a tall stool. Bend your knees. Now your knees must be bent because, like in everything, skiing or in golf, they must act as shock absorbers for your swing. So make sure that they're bent comfortably. You're sitting on a tall stool. Now you do not bend from the waist. You bend from the hips. And you create a straight line with your back. Now all of this can be checked. Make sure, again, your ball position, it's 2 inches on the inside of your left heel with a perpendicular line through the ball. Your knees are comfortably bent, your back is straight, and you're bending from the hips. That's all there is to that. Let's cover the short details of the backswing. Very important part of the swing is it's a wind-up where you're going to create all of your power. I try to think of several things. One, the first 12 inches I take it back on a straight line, and then all I do from there is turn my shoulders. At the top of my backswing, my back should be facing the target. And always check that. You want to make sure that you've made a big shoulder turn. The other thing to watch is that you should have 95% of your weight on your right foot. Now most amateurs do it the other way. At the top of their backswing, 95% of their weight is on their left side, which is what's called a reverse weight shift. So the way to check that, when you take it back on your backswing, you should be able to take it back and actually lift your left foot off the ground. There should only be 5% to keep your balance right there. So I can actually take it back, lift my left foot off the ground and still hit it. Once you have yourself set up at the backswing, all you have to do from here is key your downswing and follow through. I have people ask me all the time, what do you think of on your downswing? It is less than half a second from the top of your backswing till you hit impact, so there's nothing that you can really think of. So what I try to do is get it started on the right track. I try to get, now that my weight is 95% on my right side, get my weight as quickly as I can from my right side to my left side. So I try to feel like my right knee touches my left knee as quickly as possible. What that does, it causes a fulcrum effect. The bottom half of my body goes ahead, my upper half will stay behind the ball. From there, all I do is move my weight through and follow through. At the very top of your backswing, follow through, your weight should be all on the outside of your left heel, and the right foot toe should be just on the ground for balance. Again, 95% of your weight should be on your left side. In fact, if you wanted to check that, you'll see people like Gary Player use their weight so well, their lower half of the body, that when they create power, they actually walk forwards. It's okay as long as you don't walk backwards. If you walk forwards, then your weight's going the right direction. A lot of amateurs have the problem with the reverse weight shifters. They get their weight to the left side and the way back, and they fall backwards on the way through. And that's very powerless from there. So make sure, again, your weight gets onto the top of your backswing on your right side, and as you follow through, it's all the way over onto the outside of your left side. Let's go over the important things one more time. Set your club first. Set your feet, hips and shoulders parallel to the line that you want the ball to go. Take it straight back the first 12 inches. Then begin a wrist cock at waist high. Take a full shoulder turn, making sure your back is to the target. At the top of the backswing, your weight should be mostly on your right side. Now key your downswing by pushing off with your right foot onto the left side. Hold your follow through and make sure that all your weight is on the left side. Okay, now let's see Jill hit one. Good shot. Well, Jill, you're doing a lot of things right. Your grip is very good, and you've got a good weight transfer on the way back. Two things, though. One, I want you to try to keep your left arm straight on your way back. The reason that this does, it creates a huge arc. The further you can get this club head away from the ball, the more power you're going to get.
Okay.
And the second thing is, don't keep your head down.
I always thought that I was supposed to keep my head down.
I know, I hear that all the time, and that's wrong. You really shouldn't keep your head down, because if you follow through correctly, your head should follow through, just like it says. So I want you to hold your follow through, and let's see if it's better.
Okay.
And try to keep your left arm straight on the way back.
Okay.
Jill's left arm is a little straighter, but it needs to be even more so. Take a look at mine. Jill still has a tendency to keep her head down, and that hinders her weight transfer. Watch in my follow-through how my head has moved because of my weight transfer. Okay, now it's Jane's turn. Okay, I want you to set up again like you're going to hit the ball.
Okay.
Now remember I said that you should only have a hand's width between your hands and your body, so I want you to keep your hands there comfortably.
Okay, I should move forward then too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bend your knees, bend comfortably, and then keep your hands about a hand's width.
Okay.
The other thing is that you're standing a little bit too steady on your feet. You've got them bent well, but there's no weight transfer.
I see.
So what I want you to do is try to move your weight from your right side, and your right knee point towards your left knee. Your left knee point, yes, and then on the way through, your right knee point towards your left knee.
Okay.
Good. You get a weight transfer and get some power.
Okay.
Jane breaks her hands too quickly on her takeaway, whereas mine is long and low. Her left knee points to the ball instead of to her right side, as mine is. At the top of her swing, there is not enough shoulder turn. The back should be to the target, as mine is. On the way down, she keeps her weight too much on her right side, whereas mine is all the way over onto my left heel. Now let's check out what we've learned. This is a handy section of the tape to come back to often, just to check your fundamentals.
Πρωτάθλημα Πορτογαλίας μετά από 11 χρόνια. Και το πήρε με διαφορά τερμάτων από την Μπενφίκα. Αρδίζογλου, Μιντζόγλου, Μαύρος, Αρδίζογλου. Ο Αρδίζογλου σε μια επιθετική προσπάθεια και 2-0. Το 2-0 που κάνει ο Χρήστος Αρδίζογλου έκανε ένα μπάσιμο, απέθυνε 2-3 αμυντικούς Πορτογάλους και όταν είδε ότι ο Νικολούδης. Δεν πέρασε η μπάλα. Δωμάζος. Γκάμπριελ κόβει. Ιντζόγλου έχει την μπάλα. Άφησε το πλεονέκτημα ο Σοβιετικός ζητής. Μαύρος. Ναι, και το 3-0. Ναι, ένα πολύ ωραίο γκολ σε εκτέλεση. Το τρίτο της ΑΕΚ, το δεύτερο του Μπάγκεβιτς στη σέντρα αμέσως. Το φάουλο Δωμάζος. Σιμόες έδιωξε. Τάσος, ναι! Να το τέταρτο γκολ που λέγαμε ότι θα έπρεπε να το επιδιώξει η ΑΕΚ πριν λήξει το ημίχρονο. Και το πέτυχε ο Τάσος, ένα πολύ ωραίο γκολ. Ο επόπτης έδειξε φάουλ, έδειξε φράγμα του Φρέντα στον Τάσο, ο διαιτητής είπε out την μπάλα. Και Σέιρα. Μπερδεύονται οι δύο Πορτογάλοι, τελικά έδιωξε ο Σιμόες. Νικολάου. Γκόμες έγινε λάθος, ο Ντούντα μες στην περιοχή. Και ο Ολιβέρα βγάζει γκολ για την ΑΕΚ. Έγιναν λάθη από αμυντικής πλευράς της ΑΕΚ με αποτέλεσμα και 4-5-1 με τον Νικολάου. Ο Λάξο Νικολάου. Αυτό το γκολ του Νικολάου μπορεί να του ξαναδώσει το ρυθμό που είχε στο πρώτο ημίχρονο και που είχε χάσει το δεύτερο ημίχρονο. Αρδίζογλου. Μπάγεβιτς. Ναι, ο Μαύρος. Ο Μαύρος και κάνει το 6-1. Σε 2 λεπτά, μέσα σε 2 λεπτά, από εκεί που τα πράγματα είχαν γίνει κάπως όχι βέβαια.
You're watching Sleepcore. Pleasant dreams.
この番組はソニー、ホンダ、資生堂、クラリオン、サントリー、両備、ミノルタカメラの提供でお送りします。
皆さんこんばんは、プロ野球ニュースです。寝耳に水とはこのことでしょうか。南海の新しい監督にブレイザーが就任します。私びっくりしました、このニュース聞いて。明日11日にですね、ブレイザー新監督正式に発表されるそうですが、川勝オーナーの話によりますと、明朝11日の朝ですね、私が直接電話で要請する、交渉すればすぐ OK が出ると思うと言ってます。本当ですか。あらかじめですね、連絡が取れていたようですね。さあ、それでは早速ゲームをご覧いただきましょう。今日はですね、名古屋で行われました中日巨人から参ります。この試合、東海テレビの川村さんと酒井アナウンサーにお願いします。どうぞ。
はい、川村さん、2週間ぶりですかね、地元に戻ってくるのは。
本当にね、ドラゴンズ久しぶりに来たんですが、それにしてもお客さんがよくね、最後の最後まで入ってくれますね。
今日は2万3000人入りました。今シーズンこのカード最終戦ということですね。
そうですね。
早いものです。早速試合の方をご覧いただきましょう。先発は中日がご覧のように戸田、そして巨人が中4日で貞岡が出てまいりました。1回裏の中日の攻撃です。先頭バッターの藤浪。
今日の貞岡なんですが、立ち上がりどうもコントロールが良くなかったですね。
なるほど。さて、その続く宇野の2球目なんですけども、
結局これで走ってアウト、助けてしまうんですよね。
そうですね。
で次の宇野が曲をして歩いてしまうんですが、
これもストレートのフォアボールでしたからね。
そうでしたね。
他を倒れて2アウトで、さあ矢沢です。
やはり矢沢がセンター返しするということはですね、やはり絶対に打率を落としませんね。
なるほど。さて、2アウト1塁2塁で5番の木俣ですが、初球を打ちます。
貞岡もドラゴンズには自信持ってますから、なんとかこうやりくりをしましたね。
そうですか。さて、3回まで巨人は1安打、4回に入りましてトップバッターの松本、初球を打ちます。何度もないセカンドゴロという感じがしたんですけども、
今日この高木のね、フットワークが良くなかったですね。
続く篠塚、ノーツーからの3球目。
エラーの後に、この ライトがですね、中途半端な体勢で前進してきましたね。ワンバウンドで取るのかノーバウンドで取ろうか迷いました。
なるほどね。これが三塁打となります。松本帰ってまず1点。続いて3番のホワイト、初球を打ちます。
これもね、セカンドゴロなんですが、これは判断が悪かった。間に合わないホームになりましたね。
そうですか。4回2点追加、そして5回に山倉の第17号ソロホームランで1点を追加。3対0。ちょっと途中から雨がね一時激しくなりました。さて5回の裏の中日の攻撃、ワンアウトから7番の豊田。これが中日3本目のヒットとなりました。関東セカンドゴロで豊田2塁へ、そしてピッチャーの戸田に変えて代打の谷木。その谷木の4球目、佐藤岡ワイルドピッチ。豊田は3塁へ2アウト。初めてランナーを3塁に送りました中日。しかしその谷木なんですけどもね、
からピンチヒッターがね振らずに三振ではこれなんともなりませんね。これちょっと寂しいですね。
そうですね。さて6回の巨人の攻撃ご覧いただきましょう。マウンド上2番手の水谷。ちょっと久しぶりのマウンドとなりましたね、水谷。
ちょっと腰が悪くて、ファームの方へ行ってましたが、出てきて今日あんまりいいところ見せませんでしたね。こんな悪いですね、水谷私初めて見ましたよ。
そうですか。篠塚に粘られてフォアボール、そしてホワイトなんですが、かなり大きな打球でしたね、これは。
あわやというような一撃でしたが、全くストレートも走ってない、キレもないということでね。
ワンアウトも取れず、水谷は3番手佐藤にマウンドを譲ります。ノーアウト2塁3塁、巨人追加点のチャンス。そしてバッターは4番の王を迎えます。1打席2打席凡退、これが3打席目ですけどね。
巨人は効率のいい点の取り方をしましたね。これから
そうですね、ご覧いただきましょう。まず王です。センターへのこれが犠牲フライとなります。三塁から篠塚が帰ってこの回まず1点。二塁ランナーのホワイトはこの間に三塁へ。そして続く5番の粟口。
どうしても佐藤に球威に力、球に力がないですからね。これ外野フライ打ってしまうんですが。
そうですね。ホワイトも帰って2点目。ツーアウトランナーなくなりましたが、続く6番の中畑。
これ外角寄りのボールなんですがね、中畑は手を離してるんです。左手1本でホームランを打ったという感じで、その人もドラゴンズ戦よく打ちますね。
打ちますね。第22号ソロでこの回3点追加、6対0です。さて完封ペースで佐田岡行くかなと思いましたが、7回2アウトを取って6番の高木、初球打ち。
守りでは今日はいいとこなかったんですが、高木はいい振りしましたね。
そうですね。
結局はこの1点だけですから、いかにもドラゴンズは寂しかったですね。
そうですね。久しぶりの第5号ソロ、5本のうち4本がジャイアンツ戦です。この後高木のと2アウト1、2塁のチャンスがあったんですけどもね、得点できません。さあ悠々の関東ペースの佐田岡。8回も3人ずつ、そして9回のすでに2アウト、ラストバッター高木をファーストのフライに打ち取りまして、結局完投で8勝目をマークしました。8勝のうち 3つの完投勝ちということなんですけどもね。ですそうです。
This is NBC's Sports World, and today it's brought to you by the 1980 Volkswagen Rabbit, Dasher and Scirocco, and by Schlitz. Make the most of now. Go for it. The University of Notre Dame has long been famed for its football, but today NBC Sports World travels to South Bend for a different spectacle. From the Athletic Convocation Center at Notre Dame University in South Bend, Indiana, we've got a very special event for you. The 50th annual Bengal Bouts. Top of the afternoon to you and a happy St. Patrick's Sunday, everyone. I'm Mike Adamley along with NBC's boxing expert, Raleigh Schwartz. Raleigh, of course, a manager of that absolutely spectacular 1976 Olympic boxing team. And what would a St. Patrick's Day festival be without the traditional leprechaun? And me boy, you did a great job on that tease, but we've got some other business now, so be gone with you, be gone with you. Okay, Raleigh, you know, people are going to ask at home, quite frankly, why is a network bothering to cover an intramural boxing championship? But we know for a fact that these Bengal bouts are indeed unique.
Oh, they are unique because this is a 50-year tradition, and one of the really great traditions in boxing. It's been known throughout the world, the Bengal bouts.
You know, Just like about everything else here at Notre Dame, the Bengal bouts are steeped in tradition. In the early 1920s, the boxing program was directed by Newt Rockne. Rockne was so enthralled with the sport of boxing that he made it a requirement for all of his football players. However, in 1928, boxing was dropped as a varsity sport, but with the help of Dominic Napolitano, it flourished as an intramural sport. In 1931, the Bengal bouts started as a fraternity smoker, and it was an almost overnight success, as it was not uncommon to see the old Notre Dame fieldhouse jammed to capacity. Over the years, the bouts have attracted such great professional luminaries as Tony Zale and the hard-pounding Rocky Marciano. They were referees as well as giving boxing demonstrations. Football has also played a big part in the Bengal bout success story. Not only have Notre Dame players participated, but also they have provided some of the most memorable moments in Bengal bout history. In 1976, two NFL #1 draft picks, Ken McAfee and Ross Browner, stood toe-to-toe and banged it out. And many folks still believe the ring is shaking from that one, you know.
I feel it right now.
So go the Bengal bouts, and you know, many people will look and say they'll have seen sharper jabs and crisper combinations, but believe me, the fans will not get shortchanged.
They certainly won't, because the great effort will be the effort of these young men. And when the Irish get together for a fight, it's got to be a wow.
And we're ready for action in the 155-pound weight class. Let's go ringside and meet the boxers.
Hi, my name is Barry Tharp. I'm a sophomore from Lombard, Illinois, and majoring in fine arts philosophy.
Hello, I'm Mike Marone from Buffalo, New York. I'm a sophomore, liberal arts major.
Tharp wearing his badge of courage under his left eye, a shiner courtesy of a previous bout. Over 100 boxers started this Bengal tournament, went through a series of eliminations. Tharp in the gold, Marone in the blue.
Looks like both men have thrown caution to the wind, and they're both going to try to take each other out with one big smash. As you notice, the big problem is this. Both men dropped. Oh, a tremendous left hook by Marone. Now he's in the black trunks. Here comes Tharp going right to the action. A lot of illegal blows being landed. However, this is not international boxing. These are student athletes, and they're going at it with a lot of vim and vigor.
As a matter of fact, many of these boxers never even slipped on a pair of boxing gloves before they joined the Notre Dame Boxing Club. I think it shows a little bit here, too. Tharp again in the gold. Marone, it's actually the blue trunks, Raleigh. They look black. Very dark navy.
Correct. Barry Tharp, you know, he's a walk-on member of the football team, and he's a rough lad. And you should notice these football players, they go right to the action. He's the aggressor, and there's a big roundhouse right hand, landed on the palm surface, but strong enough to put Marone down.
Sudis, the referee, Tom Sudis, a former Bengal boxer, checks Marone's condition, says he's okay to go. 90-second rounds here, and that's why you see all this furious action, because
look at that. If they miss one, they're coming back with another. And the question, who has the strongest chin?
Well, there Marone's chin paid the price. Tharp being sent to his corner. Raleigh, let's take a look at the furious action here in round one.
There's Tharp, and he does one good thing. He leads off with that jab, and that sets Marone up. There's that left jab again. Now, he missed with the hook, but he continues on. Now watch that looping right hand with the open part of the glove, but it has tremendous power. Terrific pivoting there by young Barry Tharp.
Round two, 155-pound weight class action. Barry Tharp in the gold, Mike Marone in the blue. All proceeds from this tournament, revenue generated, go to the Holy Cross Mission in Bangladesh. And over the years, they have donated over $300,000. A great, great event.
Tharp had a big first round, and now he's still leading on, but watch Marone with his counterpunch. He's as courageous a young man as you'll ever find. Even though he's been in trouble a couple times in the first round, he's wailing right back and showing the real courage and the fighting spirit of Notre Dame.
You're not going to see any of these Bengal bouters quit the rally because they have worked too hard and too long for this moment in the spotlight.
Hey, your referee is Tom Sudis, a fine young man who takes care of the athlete, and the biggest safety for these people is a referee with compassion for the boxers, and Tom has done it all. He's coached and refereed both here at Notre Dame. Oh, there was a good left hand, and notice how Barry moves in. Barry Tharp, and he has his opponent in trouble. Oh, there was a bad blow. That was a blow back of the neck. It could be a foul, but Sudis now is giving him what is known as the standing knockdown. 8 seconds to see if this young man can collect his wits. If not, I'm sure he will retire him. And that's what he does. Nice going, Tom. Always protect that box.
Elegance, excellence, sophistication, sensuality. Long ago, Alexander Zulin and Maya Usova captured the hearts of skating fans everywhere. Tonight, they hope to capture their first world championship.
You're watching Sleepcore. Sleep tight.
Coming at you on the NBA tonight. The Mavs and the Kings go at it in Dallas. The Celtics try to break a 3-year drought in O-Town. It's the former Battle of Canada as the Grizz go to Toronto, and we take a look back at the plays of the month. Watch out for the NBA tonight. Now. Gotta watch out on the floor there. Hi there, welcome to the show that loves the flow. This is the NBA tonight, 3 deep in the hoopla. You know him, he's the coach. That's the DA of the NBA. David Aldridge, I am Jason Jackson. Just 5 games on the docket, but we'll keep you locked in with a look back at the best plays of the first month, plus also a very special progress report on the first 30 days. You want to stay locked for that. But first, the visuals. Let's go to the floor. Kings and Mavs and Big D. Mike Bibby leading the run and gun in Dallas early on. In transition, Bibby gets the pass, goes coast to coast. He had 5 of 13 shots in the contest. Next Mavs possession. They lose it. Bibby feeds Peja, and that is a theme. Next Mavs possession. Christie, Lorette, the beautiful bounce pass to Stojakovic, part of a 9-0 Kings run. Still in the first, Kings up 3. Peja showering down the 3 on Juwan Howard. He had 17 in the first. Kings up 30-23 after 1. In the second quarter, it was Scott Pollard on the glass, Fred. Oh, Jason, he certainly was. 8 offensive rebounds on the night. I tell you what, he's on the glass. 15 rebounds in the first half, doing it all.
Kings up 9, still in the second. Mavs down 10. Finley blows by Peja. Uses 2 hands. 21 points in the contest. Mavs trail 59-42 at the half. Third quarter, 3-pointers, the key to the Mavs comeback. Tim Hardaway from downtown, 3-licious. Hardaway again, trifecta. You betcha. He had 4 of 8 in the contest, 16 off the bench. Then Juwan out to Nash. That's a 3B. Mavs down 9 after 3. Fourth quarter. Kings too much though. Fred, talk to us about bad defense.
Oh, Jason, big play in the ball game. 4-point game. Clock's winding down. Juwan Howard guarding Scott Pollard. 4 free throw shooter. Fouling, putting him on the line, make him make free throws. Bad defense.
Kings up 6, then Peja takes over the highlight. The tough jumper, the aroma. 6 turnaround Jay, and Nash's face. He was in Peja's face, and then again over Nash. The ridiculous Jay. He hit 13 of 19. It smells so sweet. Peja with the game high. This was the 4th time this season he's provided 30 or more in a game. Pollard and Divac went for 17 and 11 on the boards, respectively. Finley had 21, as we mentioned, in the loss. Nowitzki with 29 and 11. He's averaging 27 points per game at home compared to just 18.7 on the road thus far. The Kings have held 10 straight opponents under 100 points, winning 8 of those contests. Dallas's 4-game winning streak all done. The only problem with the Kings right now, Fred, is we want to know when they're going to stand up as the real Kings versus struggling against teams that they shouldn't, like they did earlier this week.
And that's so important, Jason. After all, when they're in a ball game against the Grizzlies, they lose that ball game. But think about this now. When the big guy comes back, I'm talking about Chris Webber. Now, someone's got to move over. That flow and that tempo is going to change. Eventually, they'll right it, and they'll get it set. But somewhere along the line, they've got to be defensive, and they've got to be physical if they expect to advance in the playoffs.
And since we're talking about the Mavs, David, let's close this chapter, if we can, on the Malone situation, because the owner of the Jazz, Larry Miller,
He said he'll trade him, but what's going to be the parameters on that?
Well, you know, he talked to our colleague Frank Hughes of ESPN.com and told him that there would be some conditions under which he'd trade him, mainly if the Jazz are not a contender as he sees it. There's only one issue here with regard to Karl Malone. Did Larry Miller promise to trade him? And if he did and is trying to renege on the promise, then Karl's got a legitimate beef. But what Karl has to do, I think, if he wants to be traded, he needs to say that. He needs to say that publicly. I don't think anybody would hold it against him. It's the same thing that Hakeem Olajuwon did, Clyde Drexler, Oscar Robertson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. At some point, everybody has to be traded. Fred Carter. You didn't like where you got traded, did you?
No, I didn't.
But, you know, these things happen all the time. So if Karl Malone stands up and says, hey, I've given this organization 16 good years, I'd like to try to end my career with a champion, I don't think anybody would hold it against him.
But reiterate what you said on Wednesday about the discussion specifically between Dallas and Utah. Anything serious there at all?
No, not really. Not right now. I mean, Utah would love to, I think, they wouldn't mind moving Karl Malone. They want things back. They don't want Juwan Howard. He gets them closer to the luxury tax rather than further away. Not really interested in that straight up. Would they like a bunch of young players? Sure.
All right, we'll keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on the games to continue on Thursday. We check in on the Magic and the Celtics peeking in. Paul Pierce and the Seas looking for their second straight win in Florida, but early, all Miller from the corner, the jumper, then buy one, get one, three later. Off the skip pass by T-Mac Miller. Three at last. Miller scored the Magic's first 10 points in the game, but the Celtics took control.
Individual effort.
Paul Pierce up fakes McGrady and one basketball. Celtics up one after one, second quarter. Twan gets busy, Fred.
Oh, he does know how to get busy, Jason. Look at him here. In the open floor, can handle, can rebound, can finish, and can also shoot three-pointers. Look at him here. 6 for 16 from three-point land, but he also rebounds. Again, three-pointer, Antoine Walker. You like the guy because he can score.
The Celtics up 9, then Pierce and T-Mac put on a show. Fred, walk us through it.
No, it's not birthing magic, but it's pretty darn good. As you see him fake T-Mac get in the lane, but watch T-Mac back at you, young fella. He comes back with the swinging jumper. He knocks it down. But watch here. Is this Larry Bird-like step-back jumper, Paul Pierce? Young fella, I like it. But watch T-Mac. He comes back at you. The runner. Oh, boy, this is an old-fashioned shootout.
Still in the second quarter, Celtics up 5. One again. Not good. He had 19 in the first half. Seas up 8 at the break. Third quarter. Magic roar back. Down 4. Darrell Armstrong. The jumper goes. 9 points in the third for Armstrong. Magic down a deuce, but the Seas lit it up from long range. Up 2. Kenny Anderson knows that 3 is a family later. Pierce pops off the screen. Rock, chalk, Jayhawk. It's still a 3. Paul finished with 26 and 12. Seas up 8 after 3. Then in the fourth. Twan. 6 of 16 from behind the arc. Went in for Mr. Walker. The 1-2 punch. At it again. Walker with 33. Pierce with 26. T-Mac led Orlando in the loss with 22 points while adding 6 boards and 4 assists. Anderson and Strickland each dished out 8 assists in the win. This was just the second win for Boston in its last 10 trips to Orlando. The Magic took 30. That's 3-0 threes in the game, hitting 6. Wow. They only hit for 38% overall.
さあ平成4年の女子柔道の日本一は田辺陽子になるでしょうか、あるいは初めてこちらの佐藤明子の頭上に王冠が輝くんでしょうか。6連覇をかける田辺陽子、初優勝に向かう佐藤明子。決勝の試合時間は去年から5分間です。2人はともに72キロ以下の選手。手の内は十分に知り尽くしている田辺と佐藤です。
しかし今日はですね、佐藤選手普段見せない先ほどの、支え釣り込み足ですとか、いろんな技が今日は出てますんでね、非常に面白い戦いだと思いますよ。やはりこの試合も相四つなんですね。お互い左同士です。
ともに左で釣り手を取るのを得意にしている田辺と佐藤、左の組み手です。技では田辺大内刈り、佐藤内股を得意にしています。その大内刈り、 思い切った投げ技を見せます佐藤です。24歳、大阪府警察本部の佐藤。内股有効。佐藤審判有効を取りました。田辺の内股。
今は大内刈りに行くと見せて内股に変化しましたね。
さあ寝技に持ち込めるか。三角です。そして腕を取りに行きます。
十字固めを狙うような形になりましたけれどもね。
これは逃れました佐藤。しかし待てです。
この辺りは佐藤選手としても知り尽くしてますからね、そう簡単にはいきませんね。
まず内股で有効のポイントを取りました田辺。
しかしこれで今のところですね、
大内から1点ですね。大内から変形しての内股。
引き手は持ってなかったんですけれどもね、うまく浴びせました。これで随分田辺さんとしては気持ちが楽になりましたね。
思い切った一本背負い。
こういうふうにポイントを取りますと寝技でもじっくり攻めることができるんですね。
三角締めから
入りましたよ。
返して寝技に持ち込むか。
入りそうですね。
入りそうだ。寝技に入った。抑え込みに入りました田辺陽子。上四方固めです。
ね、崩れ上四方になってますかね。
30秒で一本勝ちになります。
きっちり入りましたね。
6連覇に向けての寝技、がっちり抑え込みました田辺陽子。すでに25秒になりました。田辺優勝、6連覇を達成しました。上四方固め一本勝ち。根元には汗でしょうか涙でしょうか、田辺見事に優勝を飾りました。
Here's Brian McFarland. Well, this week in the NHL, while some teams battled a blizzard in the East, the Edmonton Oilers were fighting a bit of a drought in the West. 4 games without a victory, 3 straight home losses. That third straight home loss was to Winnipeg last Sunday night at the Northlands Coliseum. 6-3 the score. Let's look at a couple of the highlights. Jim Nill, a hero in this hockey game, picked up earlier from the Bruins. Watch him now, number 17, as the loose puck comes free. There's Nill, he gets it up and in behind rookie goalie Darryl Ray. And then Nill scored again, his second of the game from Smale and Boschman. A tip in here. That's 2 straight wins for the Jets over the Oilers after going 20 games against them without a victory. Monday's big blizzard delayed a game in Minnesota between the Montreal Canadiens and the Minnesota North Stars. After almost a 2-hour delay, they got playing after 2 periods, a 2-2 tie. There's Dino Ciccarelli putting Minnesota in front with his 11th. Now Keith Acton, neat move there. And it's 4-2 Minnesota. They win it 4-3 and stay 10 points ahead of Toronto in the Norris Division. On Tuesday at the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, the Islanders scoring machine Mike Bossy became the first player in NHL history to score at least 50 goals in 8 consecutive seasons. Bossy scored a pair of goals against Philadelphia. There's his 50th. Not pretty, but it's in the net. The Flyers, however, won the game 5-4. Veteran Marcel Dion on Tuesday became a record holder with his 8th season collecting 100 points or more. On the same night, the Oilers got sensational goaltending from another rookie. Mike Zanier called up from Nova Scotia. Zanier won his first NHL start, was named #1 star of the game. Look at that save. And now a pretty goal, Glenn Anderson's 36th. From the skating alphabet, Mike Krushelnyski. Good move there by Mike. Over to Anderson. The Oilers dumped the Flames 5-3 at the Saddle Dome. On Wednesday, Bill Barber, remember him, over 400 career goals as a Flyer. A knee injury may have ended his playing career, but now he becomes a coach with the Hershey Bears. On Thursday, the 2 top teams in the Patrick Division, Philadelphia and Washington, met at the Spectrum. 9-6 for Philadelphia. Tim Kerr with the hat trick. Dave Poulin also had the hat trick. Here's Kerr's 50th goal, a tip-in from Howe. And later on, his 51st, another tip-in, not bad for a free agent. and the Flyers beat the Caps. On Friday, Wayne Gretzky, who's always retained a strong interest in junior hockey, bought the Hull Olympics of the Quebec Junior League a popular purchase. And last night, in their return match, the Flyers made it 2 in a row over Washington. First Flyer goal by Ilkka Sinisalo, having a great season. Here's his 28th early in the hockey game against Reagan. And Murray Craven scored his 21st, the winner, as the Flyers went on to their second straight win, 4-2 over the Caps. The teams are tied at the top of the Patrick Division. And now it's time for our Panasonic Play of the Week, and we go all the way back to Sunday night's game between the Winnipeg Jets and the Edmonton Oilers at the Northlands Coliseum. Watch Dale Howardchuk, the Jet captain, on this play. Taking the pass from Picard, they converge on him, but he beats 3 men and then slaps it to the corner behind the rookie, Darrell Ray. Again, Howardchuk moving in. Some great moves by the captain. There's the slapper to the corner, and that's our Play of the Week.
The Play of the Week has been brought to you by Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time.